Hello, this is Adrian, Capricorntigress of Astrology, a look inside, and I'm doing a reading at the witching hour. I don't know what possesses me to do a reading at the witching hour, but I thought I would do Virgo. Virgo. This, I don't know. Isn't that weird? Because, well, it's March 2019, and March is the month of Pisces. So all the emphasis is on Pisces. And I just think it's so weird that I woke up in the middle of the night. Well, I didn't go to bed. I just had this urge to do you guys, Virgo. So we're going to do you. That's what we're doing. At 3 o'clock in the morning, we're going to do Virgo. So let me pick up my magic amethyst. For some reason, I know I'm going to need this right now with this reading. I just want to see what stands out to me the most. What's there's a couple of things really that are really standing out to me. The most important thing, I guess, for well, let me put this here. I forgot because it's going to be here pretty much, right? From the beginning. Okay, yeah. So the big thing is that it's all about your relationships, I think. I mean, really, the entire month, it's all going to be about relationships. Really, it's partnerships. You know that because sometimes when you think about the seventh house, people think, oh, it's marriage. It's the marriage partner, right? There's something going on with the marriage partner, right? But it could be that it's about the business partnerships because the seventh house just rules other people. And a lot of folks forget that. Like the first house is the self, really. And the seventh house is others, pretty much. And so it's usually the significant other, such as your partner, and that could include business partner, your marriage mate, or the person you live with, that person that is that other part of you or in that close type of relationship with you. It's the seventh house. Business partnerships can be here though. So that's something to keep in mind. And on the, I'm just going to get my little sheet out because I don't want to miss anything. Yeah. So the first thing that happens, because it's everything centered around Pisces, just remember that pretty much all month. I mean, it's a very Pisces month. So the first thing that happens really in the beginning of March is on the 6th, or is this the 5th, I think, right? Mercury is going to go retrograde in Pisces. And then it retrogrades at 29 degrees, and it's going to stay retrograde until the 28th of February. And then when Mercury does station direct, it's going to be at 16 degrees of Pisces. So it's going to be in Pisces all month. It's actually just backtracking in Pisces. So maybe some of the things that you didn't get to do, you're going to have a second chance to get to do them. And the thing about Pisces in general is that Pisces is I always say the word nebulous because somewhere I read the word nebulous and it stuck with me because it's such a cool word, right? But it's just like that other worldliness. It's like something you see or you think you see, but you can't quite get your fingers around it, or you can't really grasp it in some way. Like it's there, but it's not tangible, really. Neptune is a very otherworldly. It could be like when I think about business partnerships and Neptune, I'm thinking about like a whole bunch of like rumors or mulling about something big. Like there might be people who are saying, yeah, we're going to get this deal done. And when we get this deal done, we're going to be making 5 Gs a month on this, right? And there might be someone else that's like, yeah, I got this deal too, and we're going to get this deal done. And when this works, we're going to be making like 100 grand each. And like, so there's all this going around. Now, is that all true? Is that all going to happen? I don't know. I don't know. But I'm just saying that kind of like, I don't want to say pie in the sky, but I won't, okay, how can I put it? Neptune, or just think about like dreamers, right? Like the grand illusion, the grand dream. There is a big dream, a big grand dream going on in your seventh house of partnerships, in your seventh house of marriage, in your seventh house. Now, and first, before I go into what let me go into what I'm going to say before I go into it. The seventh house also rules enemies. 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 And they're there. They're hidden. Very much hidden because, well, it's Pisces. And it's Neptune. And Neptune is there in that seventh house. And so is Mercury. But what's going to really make it come out, and maybe even, I hope not in an ugly way, and I would say be extra careful and protective of yourself on this day, but on March 6th is a big day. Okay? It's a very big day astrologically. On March 6th, the moon and the sun are going to be conjunct in Pisces at 15 degrees and 47 minutes. This is going to be a new moon in Pisces. And this is happening right smack dab in the seventh house of Virgos. So Virgos are going to feel that it's opposite you. That whatever that is, it's anti-Virgo, if you understand what I'm saying. Now it could just be that it's your partnerships. It could be, you might need to be careful of having any kind of whatever with your partner, especially if your partner is a Pisces. Lord. Your partner might just feel very emotional that day, or you might feel very emotional. You're both, in fact, if anything does pop off, you'll both feel emotional because the sun and the moon are there. And so is Mercury, and so is Neptune. So it's not like it's going to be just one. It'll be the sun and the moon. It'll be the fact that the sun and the moon are conjoined. Now, this could be a very positive thing with the sun and the moon conjoined. It just could be that you're of one mind. Your partner's of one mind, and you might be of one mind with your partner. I mean, I don't know. It might just be the flavoring of the oh, I'm so sorry. That was just bothering me so bad. I had to do that. But it might just be the flavoring of the relationship might offset this vibe. And just for the record, there's going to be another major occurrence later in the month, and I'm going to talk about that, but that's going to put more emphasis for everybody on the emphasis of like relationships. So it's really about relationships, I think, for the whole month for Virgo in general, because it's your like natural like seventh house. And so like all of that emphasis is there, like the sun is going to be there, and we've got that Mercury going retrograde there, and Neptune is there. And after that new moon, basically the influences of that new moon are going to be influencing people, especially Virgo, for 2 weeks until we get to the full moon. And so look at it as a new opportunity. I'm saying, I think you can look at it as a new opportunity, because that's what it represents, new moons, to really maybe even reestablish an emotional, compassionate connection in your partnership. Because Pisces is emotional, they're caring, they're kind, they're gentle, they're good, kind people. me see, what day is that? The 6th. Let me see if I can find out here. Oh, it's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. So right smack in the dab in the middle of the week, March 6th. I would say if you do have any possibility of enemies, especially at work or like because that's where a lot of enemies and competition and that type of thing happen. But don't forget that the 7th house is the natural enemy house. I wouldn't even say a frenemy. It's the person that you might normally know is an enemy, but you guys have had this transit of Neptune in the 7th house for quite some time now. And I think it's blinded a lot of you guys to possible enemies, like not good situations. If you are in a situation where enemies or something like that is an issue, oh gosh, I am so sorry, you guys. This has really gotten my eye. Anyway, all these like normal things that most people don't even talk about, I'm affected by. Like, oh, I got a mascara bit in my eye, and oh, done. Why, right? Why is this happening? Okay, so, oh my gosh. My girlfriend sells mascara. I cannot wait to get her mascara. Her mascara costs a lot of money, but you know what? Good mascara is worth it because this clumps and then these little things I think get in my eye. Because believe it or not, I don't wear any false lashes. I just use mascara. And I get upset because I should not have to go through this. Sorry, you guys. Sorry. I digress. I got way too much emphasis in the 1st house, including Venus. And this is what's going on with me. I'm arguing with myself over what's going on with my eye. So anyway, back to your 7th house, okay? It's a stacked 7th house. And at one point during the month, I don't remember. Let me see if I got the day. Do I have that? Yeah. On the 26th, Venus is going to even enter the 7th house. It'll go into Pisces. I think when Venus gets into the 7th house, then love, whatever is going on, it should be easier for you to show that compassion that I think is necessary right now. And I do think some type of love, compassion, caring, like just, I don't know if your partner is feeling ignored up until then, but I just see a union, beautiful union, as long as you're willing to enjoy the partnership, enjoy that. It should be beautiful, I think, anyway. Now, you do have Jupiter still in the 4th house. That's in Sag, And so there might be some issues at home every once in a while with Jupiter and Sag like that, because with Jupiter in the 4th house area, it makes it happy. It's jovial. It's pleasant. But don't forget it's square a Virgo, so there just could be some weird feeling there, even though it's a lucky planet. So, it would be better to have Jupiter in the 4th house than not, I would think. But I could see where there might have been some issues there, and you might have just been feeling like you've got a little bit too much stuff inside of your home. Like maybe you need to figure out what you need. Decluttering might be something to consider right now because Jupiter just overdoes it wherever it is. And in this case, it's overdoing it in your home. So I don't know what's overdoing it there, but something is overdoing it. Now, in the 5th house, romance might have been a little bit not the same as it was maybe a year and a half or so ago. And this is because Saturn is there. Saturn is in Capricorn, and it's in your, this natural 5th house, this 5th house area for Virgo. And so you could be feeling that. There's no getting around that Saturn there. And Pluto is there too. Um, some Virgos may have gotten pregnant or may be having trouble getting pregnant or having sadness around being pregnant or anything that has to do with children. And Saturn tends to make things a little melancholy. A little sorrow might be there because Saturn's floating through there. I wouldn't even put it past that some of you have lost a child in the last year or so. And so Saturn is there. I guess it's teaching a lesson about responsibility, of course, and maturity about that. But also, I think hard work and perseverance, because I believe what you work hard toward, you're going to be rewarded with. And Saturn is famous for rewarding people for hard work. So if you are someone who's had difficulty having children or anything like that, what I would say is, reach out to a specialist, look for ways of getting it done in a proper way, and you might get the help or find the solution that you need. And with Pisces, with Pluto down in the fifth house, it's one of those things where something that was once thought impossible or dead could be arisen again. Don't forget that. You've got this going on. This Pisces. Pisces is reaching out to me, isn't it? Wow. This Pluto in the fifth house. And Pluto is actually going to be in opposition with the North Node in Cancer. And the North Node will be in the 11th house of Cancer, opposing that. And I mean, how can I put this? Some of you, I'm not saying all, some of you, one of the things that could be going on is that the North Node is in Cancer, and it's in the 11th house. And so it is putting emphasis and saying to put some emphasis like in friends and groups and associations and clubs and like your hopes and your dreams and your wishes and your aspirations and things like that, right? But then you might see a child at the other end of that as a thwart to that. And because Saturn is very restrictive, it's responsibility and it's growing up and it's maturity. And the last place Saturn belongs is in the fifth house, because the fifth house is supposed to be fun. And so you maybe feel like your fun is somewhat curtailed with Saturn sitting around there in that fifth house like that. And the North Node is telling you to spend the time not concentrating on the fact that, yeah, you might not be able to have children right now, or that Saturn is making it very difficult in some way to get your that happening. But with the North Node, it's telling you to put your emphasis in like outside, in friends, in groups, in associations, and pursuing your goal, like your dreams and your wishes and hopes and things like that. And if you do that, I think you're going to find more success than if you're concentrating on something that where Saturn is. Because Saturn, I'm not saying not to find solutions, but find traditional solutions and mature solutions. Also, with Saturn in the fifth house, it's also another scenario is like be careful with gambling and taking risk. Risk and be careful of taking risk in everything. Like I wouldn't take big risk if I didn't have to. Now, conversely, if you took small risk, like if you just gambled, like play the lotto every day, that's $30 a month. That's $360 a year. If you played $1 every day, the most you're going to spend is $365 that year. And so that's a very set amount of gambling money in a set amount of way. And that's a very Saturn way to do it, right? You've got 365 bucks to spend toward that goal of winning that gambling lotto or whatever it is. So if you do it that way, you'll get to have the hope and dream that you might win, but you won't break the bank because you really don't want to do that. Okay. Saturn in the fifth house sometimes makes it hard for us to attain um, our joy or our happiness, because the fifth house is our joy and happiness. And so you might feel like sometimes you get a little down with Saturn there and you're thinking, why aren't I happy? And it could be because, well, Saturn and Pluto are pretty heavy, and it's making those areas heavy, like taking risks. And even if you have a business, if you have an entrepreneurial business, I would say with Saturn and Pluto there, two things are probably happening. One, Pluto is making your business probably, well, you might be getting some jealousy because of Pluto there. Some people might be jealous of your business. And then also with Saturn, it would make you work very hard in your business. And so you might find that working at your business is very hard this year. But I tell you something, when you work hard, as Saturn demands us to do at times, Saturn tends to reward people for hard work. That's why they call it the great taskmaster, because it works you hard, but it rewards you for it. And one of the good things that's happening in this month is that Venus is going into Pisces. It doesn't happen till the 26th of March, but it's good that that influence is going to be coming around at the end of the month and into April to smooth over any problems that you probably had that were work related. Do keep in mind that the enemy frenemy that I talked about earlier could be work related. The other thing that could be giving you just a wee bit of concern, on the 20th, there's going to be a full moon in Libra. That's going to be occurring in your second house of money. And there's going to be the sun opposing that full moon in Libra from the 8th house, which is maybe someone owes you money and they didn't pay you. Now, it happens at 0 degrees in 9 minutes, but just be aware that this is occurring on the 20th of March, and that Chiron is at the early degrees of Aries as well. So I really want you to be aware of that. It could be ugly. It's Chiron's painful tear. Anywhere I see Chiron, I always see tears. That's what I see. And so I see tears in the 8th house of other people giving you money. It's the 8th house of sex, the 8th house of death. The 8th house rules possessions that other people, or that you own. Could be like documents and taxes and liens and judgments and winning inheritances, or like I said, people that owe you money, basically. We could talking to therapists and psychiatrists and stuff like that. That's their deep secrets with your partner or with other people is there. Even you giving therapeutic advice to your friends and keeping secrets, that's also there. But Chiron is here now. And it is the saddest little planetoid. And it's causing havoc in that 8th house. It's just getting started because it's finding the wounds and it's opening up the wounds to heal the wounds. Makes no sense, right? I guess it wants to open it from deep within. So Chiron is in the 8th house, opening up wounds that have to do with money issues. Probably issues that other people happen to give you money. Perhaps you got people owing you that haven't paid. The full moon on the 20th is going to set that off. So I want you to be aware of this because it occurs in Libra, and that is in the 2nd house. And so you might want to balance things out. The sun's going to be in the Aries, and that's the Libra the moon's in Libra, and you might want to find that middle equilibrium thing. I would say be cautious of doing anything on the 20th. If I were you, I would take a break that day. Let me see what day the 20th is. Is that a weekend day? That would be great, wouldn't it? March the 20th. No, another Wednesday. Darn. I'm upset about that because you know that Wednesday is a natural day of Virgo? I only know that because my daughter is a Virgo and she was born on a Wednesday, and I found it out when she was born. So you both the new moon and the full moon are occurring on Wednesdays. I want you guys to be aware of this. I don't think this stuff is a mistake. Just saying. Okay. Uranus enters Taurus on the 6th of March as well. I told you the 6th of March was going to be a big day. And that Taurus is in the 9th house for you guys. So you're going to have a lot of emphasis in the 9th house. Your value system is going to change drastically. You're changing your value system. I don't know why, but you are. Whatever your value system was previously is going to be completely rocked probably over the next 7 years. Uranus goes into Taurus on March 6th of 2019, and it comes out again on July 7th of 2025. And then it goes back in from November 7th, 2025 to April 7th of 2026. So, I mean, this stuff is really going to be affecting your life. And with that full moon happening in the 2nd house, I think it's really just going to bring that out that day. With the Chiron and everything with that going on in that 8th house up there. And I don't know, for some reason, I just felt that me back to the 2nd house. And it's because Taurus is the 2nd house. And so I feel like the emphasis is subconsciously on the 2nd house a lot of the month, especially the full moon is going to be happening there on the 20th. Money's going to be an issue. I mean, the 2nd house is your stuff, what you own, your money, your possessions. I mean, just being cautious with your money and investments and stuff like that. There could be sudden changes in your fortune. You could have a whole different way of looking at things. As I said, your value system is going to change with Uranus in the 9th house, and Mars is going to be in Taurus in the 9th house as well. So there's going to be this urge, this inner urge, this push internally to maybe learn the inner secrets of the universe or whatever philosophy you're building up inside yourself on an internal level. That there's going to be so much change with Uranus in that 9th house and Mars there. Now, as a mother, I have to say these things. I want you to be extremely cautious with travel, especially long distance travel with Mars there and Uranus there. Any long distance travel is really not advised, with Mars there. If you're going, Uranus is going to be there for a while, but at least wait until Mars goes out before you travel. Long distance, I mean. If you don't have to, don't do it. Also, don't forget when something's in the 9th house, it sets up an automatic opposition to the other side, which is the 3rd house. And that's the house of communication, but it's also the house of short distance travel. So you want to be careful, like when you're taking a bus or if you're taking a taxi or if you're driving in your car or something to that effect. You want to be cautious when you're driving around, when you're in your local neighborhood or you think you're safe. No, be careful of the cars around you in your local neighborhood. Also be careful of your neighbors. Mars is going to be opposing the 3rd house, so be cautious of your neighbors. Your neighbors could be a little freaky weird right now or try to start arguments because of something they think you said or didn't say or something like that. Just don't talk to them, Lord, have mercy. With Uranus in opposing the third house as well, just know that you're going to have about 7 years of having to deal with this strange weirdness. So, I don't know how to put it any nicer. It's not great, I'm telling you. The good thing, though, is on the 28th, Mercury does go direct, and on the 31st, Mars goes into Gemini. Now, I don't know how much you Virgos are going to like when Mars gets into Gemini. That's going to set up a whole another can of worms because it's going to have Mars in the 10th house of your career. And that starts at the end of this month, but you're going to really feel that in April. So, guys, that has been my reading for you. It's 30 minutes long. I didn't know I was going to do that. But I guess I had a lot I wanted to tell you guys. I hope you're safe for the month of March because it is your opposition month. And I think all Virgos should always take extra precaution in the month of March. And I also hope that you take my advice and spend some time on that relationship, but also be very cautious and just, give love, but just know that there could be things you don't know. And, it might not be a good time to learn them either because Neptune's still there. So keep that in mind. Anyway, this has been Capricorntigress. Much love and light to you all. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also, please feel free to like and share and subscribe and just share our videos. And also, don't forget, I give free readings on Facebook. And you can find my page at facebook.com/astrologyalookinside, and then the group where I do the readings is facebook.com/groups/astrologyalookinside. And lastly, you can find me on Patreon, and my Patreon is patreon.com/Capricorntigress. Well, much love and much light to you all. May you have a beautiful March, and may your partnerships be filled with love and many blessings. Namaste.